Welcome to Often Pacing on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport. Tim Walker will be joined by Matt Young and Oliver Cownie as they delve into the form for today's Pinjarra harness meeting, as well as an early look at tomorrow's meeting at Gloucester Park. We are Often Pacing.
Very good morning, everybody. Welcome along to Often Pacing for another week. Great to be back with you after a couple of weeks of attending to Gloucester Park on Mondays. We've got a very busy program on the way today. We've got Ollie Cownie and Glen Moore's actually going to jump in the big shoes of Matt Young this morning to take us through the last couple of days here in the West, and I'll look ahead to the next 48 hours or so. And then later on this morning, we're going to have a chat to Tim Gossage as we build up to W Night here in the West. Of course, Tim will be hosting the event that is here at Gloucester Park, and on that night, of course, we've got the $225,000 Westbred Classics for the 2-year-old colts and geldings, and also the 2-year-old fillies, as well as a pair of $100,000 races for the colts and geldings and fillies in the 3-year-old category. So, of course, on that night, there is a function in the Radiant Oro room, and we'll be able to have a chat to Tim about that and also his involvement in harness racing, which no doubt you would have read and heard about over the last couple of months. So looking forward to catching up with him. But let's not keep Ollie and Glen waiting any longer. Ollie, a very good morning to you once more.
Good morning again, Tim.
And Glen Moore with us as well. Good morning to you, Glen.
Yeah, good morning, boys. Good morning, listeners. Yeah, we had a big night at Gloucester Park Friday night with a couple of turn-ups for the books, I guess. What are the odds in Menimsha? We expected them to lead, and speed maps are everything, aren't they? And they both got crossed and upset the apple cart for those two horses, two favourites.
All right, well, let's start with our feature event, the Higgins Memorial on Friday night. Ollie, we'll get your thoughts firstly before we get Glen's thoughts, and the performance here of Sorridere out in front, able to beat What Are the Odds? How did you come away from this?
It really has gone to another level this time in Sorridere. It was all map-based, as Glenn mentioned. Him ending up going around at nearly $10, which was pretty crazy. I think the worst run he could have gotten was maybe in the 1-1, but he's ended up finding the lead after 100 metres. Gee, he looked awful hard to beat from there. And one of the odds probably looked in a bit of trouble as soon as he got to cross. So they were both fantastic efforts, Sorridere and What Are the Odds, and they look nice horses going forward. A real eye-catcher in third, high price, Flussy into third, and Vegas Strip battled on well into fourth after facing the breeze there. It was a really good race, and it's a great series to John Higgins.
Certainly is, and you get to see the three heats, and it obviously culminated on Friday night for $50,000, and some of these horses getting the chance to run for some decent prize money. Glenn, how did you view the main race on the night?
Yeah, well, very much the same. There was a slight query about Sorridere, Vegas Strip coming across early. Aidan de Campo, listening to the pre-race interviews, indicated that he was going to have a look, and if he could get a half length, he'd probably go on with it, but he wasn't overly confident about getting past What Are the Odds. The interesting thing about What Are the Odds was that it was running out, hung out quite badly in the run up to the gate, got on one rein a little bit, which inconvenienced the horse, I think, in getting it. Trent Wheeler can ask him later about it, but it was definitely on one rein. It was in the stewards report as well. And it'll be interesting to see if Belly does anything with that in terms of gear changes in future, just to get him going in a straight line.
Speaking to Greg Bond yesterday, and there's a little bit to work through with what he had to say. You'll be able to read more about that on the Racing WA website later on this morning. He said he was happy enough with Vegas Strip's first look out of 3-year-old company, and maybe would have liked to have seen him finish a little bit closer, but all things considered, coming away with a 4th placing there on Friday night in the feature. Happy enough with that, and obviously it's onwards and upwards now for him towards some feature 3-year-old races. The other key part of the night was the free-for-all event, Ollie, and we got to see Tenzing Bromack with a really big support here from the punters. He was a short price favourite, a commanding favourite in the end, and he got the result after what was a really good first up performance a couple of weeks ago.
I think given what's ahead for Never Ending, it was probably always likely that he was going to be back in the run in the early stages, and Tenzing Bromack was the one that was going to push on and potentially find the breeze, but he's ended up finding the front. And I think once he did find the front, that was pretty much the race over for Never Ending, who was really an eye-catcher into second. He flew into second and was a super effort, but he just got shuffled far too far back in the run. A few horses went forward, and he ended up just too far back, but fantastic effort, and he looks right on track for that Eureka bid in September.
Yeah, he certainly does. Glenn, how did you view the free-for-all?
Yeah, well, again, the interviews, Tim, with you, Justin Prentice painted the picture that he wasn't going to be super aggressive in the early stages, and he was going to drive Never Ending from the sit. And probably was a reasonable warning to the punters that it was going to be hard for Never Ending to win. And given that fact that Tenjik Bromack got a pretty comfortable lead to the times that Never Ending had to run 26.94. He ran the last quarter in a massive performance to run those sectionals. He got within sort of a couple of metres, didn't he? But 26.94. They don't get any quicker than that. No surprise to see Tenjik Bromack lead and win.
All right, let's get some horses to follow, whether it's out of one of those two feature races or one of the other events on the program. Ollie, we'll start with you, some horses to follow from Friday night, or if you've got anything else as well from Saturday night that you want to throw out as well, let us know.
Race 3 on Friday is one that I was really taken by. First up from an extremely long spell, Strike Team, had nearly 18 months off and has returned there on Friday and didn't draw the best gate, had to get back in the early stages, and on the corner was closer to last than first, and in the end has just flashed into a really strong fourth and was coming hard. And if there was another 100 metres, it might have been right in the finish behind Otis. So I thought that was a real eye catcher, and he's definitely a horse that might derive benefit from that run there. The next horse I had to follow was actually out of that feature race, the John Higgins. High Price was really taken by his run. He flashed into a third there, running on really strongly. He did have that nice 3-wide card up, but I think he's just racing so well at the moment. High Price. He was second in that heat of the John Higgins behind Codename Marcus and qualified for the race. And yeah, it was another great run. I really think he's a horse that's going to win a race soon. And then the final horse I had from Friday to follow was in race 7, Dark Eyes. I thought he sat near a last as well in the run in the 3-year-old open race, which is probably a step up from what a lot of the races he's been contesting have been, and he weaved through well into fourth before not having the clearest passage in the concluding stages. I think he's a horse that's racing well, and he seems to be a horse that can follow any tempo and finish off strongly.
All right, so 3 horses to follow there from Friday night, Strike Team, High Price and Dark Eyes. Glenn, what about for yourself?
Yeah, I'll agree with Ollie. Strike Team, impressive run. They did run home slow, but 154.8 overall was the reason for that. They went pretty quick with Otis getting over the top. The last quarter was a little slow, but Strike Team did savage the line. You can't do any more than that. Agree with Ollie, the horse to follow. I don't mind a couple of odds. I think there'll be at odds in the next few starts. In race 1, Cloud 9, it was sort of at the back of the field, was out of the race. When it went to go, it got carded in, pushed up the track very, very wide on the home corner and down the back straight. It boxed on really meritoriously. I think if we can get the right race and the right draw, Cloud 9's ready to win, and he'll probably go around at odds. The other one, race 2, Sugar Apple. Race 2, number 11, it was in the Infinite Sign race. And once Infinite Sign led, it looked all over. Another speed map one that if you found it leading, you found the winner. Sugar Apple went the line hard held, plenty to give. Lindsay Harper indicated Parade Ring that there'll be improvement, and it went the line really, really strongly. Even though you'll see numerically it finished well back, take no notice, it went really good. And the other one in the Soradere, John Higgins, Ollie mentioned High Price went really well. Also Rocket City, rocketed home down the outside late. If they can get the right draw, it's a very dangerous horse off a cold sit. It came really wide late and flashed. So we'll put him in as well as a horse to follow.
All right, so certainly agreeing with Strike Team and High Price, but also Cloud 9, Sugar Apple, Rocket City for Glenn. Just before we do let you go, Glenn, what's your thoughts over the next couple of days? Is there one or two that stands out, be it Pinjarra today or Gloucester Park tomorrow night with the Pearl Heats?
Yeah, look, the Pearl Heats, obviously the favoured draws, I'm just trying to find my notes on that, the favoured draws for Express Party, race 4, number 2, gets its opportunity, did loom up last start, looked like it was going to go close to winning and hit a wheel, broke up. It will be hard to beat. I think I'll go with the draws in the Pearl Heat. Sebastian James again got the favours. Race 5, number 2 got the favours as well, and 6 to hold the ammo. They've all got the favours in the draws, and with the heat type, I think it's first to fourth to qualify.
Yep.
That'll be the important situation there. What else was there? I liked a little bit of value at that meeting. Maybe early on, Frankie J. Holden could go around at odds at Gloucester Park, race 2, number 5, and a little bit of fun, race 3, number 1. They could be a little bit of value on Tuesday. And on the Monday, I know Ollie's covered it reasonably well. At Pinjarra, EV Aviator, I think he's mentioned race 4-4. 7-2 Rock Artist, hard to beat. Louis Dior that Ollie has mentioned already, race 8, number 1. And we've got our horse that I'm in ownership with at Pasquale.
Yep.
I think even though he's had the 2 years off, he'll go close to winning race 9, number 4.
Terrific. All right, Glenn, we will catch up with you again on Friday morning on the Retrovision Gloucester Park preview ahead of the Diamond Night here, and look forward to your company then. Thanks for jumping on the phone for us this morning.
Really looking forward to that Diamond Classic.
Thanks, Glenn. Glenn Moore with us on the program. All right, Ollie, let's have a good look towards this Pinjarra card with you today. And, of course, you mentioned earlier on the Sports Daily that you were keen to play through the middle part of the program. But let's get your first best bet for this afternoon's card.
Kicking things off pretty early in race 2, Captain Cooper. I was really taken by a recent effort at Byford and coming really hard on the line. It was a time that they ran. The time that they ran was about 2 minutes, and I think on the same card, Sugar Rappel ran a pretty similar time, and he went around in a Metro race on Friday. So I thought Captain Cooper, it was a real eye catcher, and outside of the favourite, I thought he was a clear second pick in this race. The current quote should allow us to play each way, and I think he should go really well, Captain Cooper.
All right, currently an $11 chance with Tab Touch, race 2, number 5, Captain Cooper. The second of your best.
In race 4, as Glenn mentioned, EB Aviator, I thought would be awfully hard to beat in this race. Showed that really good gate speed last start and couldn't quite find the front, but battled on super there into third and just keeps getting better each run. So I think EB Aviator, if it can find the front today, then should be awfully hard to beat.
$2.80 with Tab Touch as things stand, and I think we're going to the very next race, are we?
We are, yeah. Miss Hepburn has been backed early, so not getting quite as good a price now, but still I thought she'd be awfully hard to beat in this company. This looks a lot easier than what she's been contesting, and I think, there's no Waterloos in this race, but she should be extremely hard to beat. I thought another angle you could play in this race was potentially Rock and Roll Sloy first up. Should get that great leader's back run and could be a really good place chance in that race. So I think Miss Hepburn and win. You can play the exotics or play Rock and Roll Sloy to place around her as well.
All right, so today that is race 2, number 5, Captain Cooper, race 4, number 4, EV Aviator, race 5, number 1, Miss Hepburn, and the watch on Rock and Roll Sloy perhaps on the each way basis in race number 5. Okay, let's move along to tomorrow night. So we've got the heats of the Pearl through the middle part of the program. What took your fancy in terms of early look? Of course, bearing in mind you'll be on the Sports Daily tomorrow morning to give us a more comprehensive run through of this Gloucester Park program.
I had 2 in those Pearl heats, but I also liked little bit of fun in race 3. As Glenn mentioned, I thought a little bit of fun probably hasn't gone as well as he can in his recent efforts, but could find the lead here from the low draw, and I thought if he did, then would be awfully hard to beat in an each way quote. But my first one in the Pearl heats was, as Glenn mentioned too, Express Party was desperately unlucky last start into third. It was a great effort, and he did look the winner. I think if that interference didn't happen, I think Captain Propeka led 2 back and didn't run a play. So I think would probably be happy to take a sit on Express Party there and qualify for that Pearl final.
All right. The next of yours?
The next one comes up in race 6, and it's a place bet, this one. I thought Pinjarra Rocks was actually a really good effort first up. The third there behind two pretty smart horses. Captain's Creek was the winner of that race and was a real eye-catcher, and they dashed home a couple of 27s in that race, and it was a great effort. And Pinjarra Rocks did get tired late in the race, but was only beaten roughly 12 metres there and was racing off the pegs. So I think getting onto the pegs in this race, second career start, should derive a lot of benefit from that first run. I think Pinjarra Rocks can get that great run and run second or third behind Hold the Ammo, who looks a pretty smart horse. I just thought Hold the Ammo might go around quite a short quote, so I was looking something outside that, but I'm also happy to play Hold the Ammo if we get a decent quote about him.
All right, hopefully we'll be able to have a chat to Cap Warwick on the Sports Daily tomorrow morning. So just recap those three for us tomorrow night, Ollie.
So in race, the first one is in race 3, a little bit of fun each way. Then race 4, Express Party, number 2. Hopefully he can lead and win. And then in race 6, Pinjarra Rocks to run a place. All
right, very nicely done. And as I mentioned, a full look towards that Gloucester Park meeting tomorrow morning on the Sports Daily from 8:45. As always, great to have you on the program this morning, Ollie. Enjoy Pinjarra today, and that best bet, Miss Hepburn. Let's hope that you're able to start the week of harness racing off on the right note. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks very much, Tim. Looking forward to it.
There is Ollie Cownie with us on the program. All right, stick with us here on Often Pacing on Tab Radio. We'll take a very short break. We'll come back and we'll have a chat to Tim Gossage and see how he's feeling ahead of Better Get On Pip on Friday night in the Diamond, and what a terrific Diamond it's shaping up to be.
They are Often Pacing on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
Great to have your company on this Monday morning. Often Pacing is fired up for another Monday morning, and we continue on now with a look towards not only this Friday night, but September 6 is going to be a magnificent night down here at headquarters with W Night, the inaugural W Night, with all 4 of the Westbred Classics on the agenda. 2-year-old Colts and Geldings and 2-year-old fillies. $225,000 they will race for before the 3-year-olds get their turn for $100,000 in their respective Westbred Classics. There's going to be a function here recognising some of our standard bred owners in this state, and the man that's going to be hosting that is Tim Gossage, and it's great to have him on the program. Now, Tim, a very good morning to you.
Thanks, Timmy Walker. Good to be on. Yeah, looking forward to not just this Friday, but as you mentioned, that night in September is going to be huge, and looking forward to rubbing shoulders with other owners and prospective owners. It's going to be a great night for harness racing, which is on a real rise at the moment, and good to be a part of it.
Yeah, and this night, obviously the inaugural one of it, we've got 4 races that are worth $100,000 or more, and the chance to, as you say, rub shoulders with some of the owners and recognise how important they are in the industry. And to be a part of that night, you must be pretty excited and hopefully have a runner in there as well.
Yeah, well, that's the plan. And my sort of journey in harness racing has been a long time in regards to being involved for numerous years as either a journo, a tipster, a trials caller, or whatever it may be. But I'm getting a real buzz out of the ownership. And this has all come about by being involved with Cody Charles and the team down there, of course, with his breeding establishment on the day where we do showcase his yearlings and the like. And that led to going to the sales, that led to sitting behind Ryan Bell, that led to sitting behind Tiffany, that led behind being a part of a syndicate who got together and got about 65% of a nice one, and she's living up to all expectations. So it's been a crazy ride. I describe myself tongue-in-cheek as the Bob Peters of harness racing, but it's just so much fun. I love the industry. I love going anywhere, anytime to watch them, but Gloucester Park, obviously, our feature track, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk about this Friday night in just a moment, but you mentioned about Ryan Bell and also Tiffany and being able to sit behind them and having horses with them, and certainly a very good one, a very good filly. You've also got Bob Millsop there that you have an association with. Very easy to deal with as well, these trainers. So for anyone that's thinking about getting involved, you could do a lot worse than have a chat to them.
Oh, no doubt. And just, I mean, you know, I've got my hands on half a dozen now. I've got a couple with Don Harper, who's just been so good and understanding. Giles Inwood's got a nice baby with us and has had to work very hard, Aidan DeCampo. But it can anyone. You know, look at Michael Young and of course, their team over there. We look at Justin Prentice and what he does and also Bondi and Denny, the work that they do. I mean, anyone. I mean, this is the thing about this industry. I think, you know, for me and through my social media, I've brought in probably 6 or 7 first-time owners who now go to the trots, who now tell their friends about it, who now have an investment, always gamble responsibly. But it's really just fun. It's just fun to be involved in. It doesn't have to be expensive. And I get a buzz going to Wagen as I do going to Gloucester Park or Pinjarra or Bunbury or wherever it may be. And the fact is that we're up close and personal learning about the industry, even for an old-timer like me. I just love the people in the industry. I get a buzz saying hello to them. I love the thrill of winning and the the thrill of going on the track and getting your photo taken. I'm an old-fashioned guy. I love a good photo. So, it's so good and so good. The communication lines, the lines of communication with all those trainers that you mentioned and I mentioned, they just can't do enough for you, especially the first-time owners. And
those photos it was as recent as last Monday, and you've had the chance with Better Get On Pip. Obviously, she's been a really, really prolific figure in the 2-year-old fillies ranks so far, and we'll hopefully see her from a touchwood, a good barrier draw for your sake this Friday night. How big of a thrill has she given you so far this season?
She's amazing. What she's done for all my friends who have come in first time, and it's a diverse group. Grant Povey, of course, who's the Claremont president and played at Claremont. Michelle Cowan, who's the head of AFLW at West Coast and was the former Dockers coach. Frank Agostino, who's got a share in a lot of racehorses, but not a harness racing, and pay-wise. Just so many. I mean, the Ben Dotties are a big part of that. They've been long-time clients of Ryan and Tiff. But it's just been quite remarkable, to be brutally honest with you. And she's going gangbusters. She has not let us down once. We've been so lucky to have Kyle Symington and Ryan Warwick and Aidan DeCampo all drive, but the work that Ryan and Tiff do with her, she's a cranky one. She can have off days like her, but every time she goes to the track, she gives her 100% all. So we're very lucky. Fingers crossed for a good draw, but you know what? Whatever draw we get, wherever we finish, we're still getting a buzz out of it. We'll be there cheering loud as possible, and we know that she won't let us down one way or the other. And if you're able to win a $100,000 race, I'm sure that'd give you a big thrill. You betcha. You betcha. I mean, you know what? We finished second to the stablemate earlier, of course, just before Christmas or just in the New Year, sorry. And, yep. We thought we were counting our money at the 100. We got run down by our stablemate, Copperhead Lady, but we still were buzzed up. You know what? Prize money's great and it pays it back, and she's paid us back in spades already. But it's just going to the trots. It's going to the trots and having fun. That's what it is, you know. And you walk down, you see the horses, and everyone can't do enough for us. But if you've got a good one, it's a bonus. Absolutely. Tim Gossage is with us on Off and Pacing. So this night, September 6th, W night, the inaugural W night, there's plenty to look forward to. Owners and their guests, not only a wonderful food and beverage package, but there'll be a host of entertainment throughout the course of the night. Prizes to win, door prizes, expert tipsters, also prize wheel giveaways. So it's not just going for the races itself. There's plenty that goes along with it on the night. Oh, too easy. And for newbies who come along to get to know about the ownership dream that it is, I mean, get a huge opportunity. Again, it could be 1%, 5%, 10%, buy it outright, whatever, but you just see the thrill of it. But there's going to be so much for everyone to do. And hats off to Racing and Wagering WA, or Racing WA, and also Gloucester Park. It is, you know, they're doing everything they can to generate enthusiasm around the industry. The industry is you know, on the track, is flying. Got to get people through the gates off the track, and I know they're doing everything they can, and this is just not a part of it. And I'm absolutely honoured, to be brutally honest, to be involved. You know, I thought my star had waned enough. I just had to sort of go and just drive it through social media. But it's good to be asked, and I'm looking forward to putting something back into the industry that has given so much to me and my family, in particular my wife, who loves the horse as well. I buy them, she pats them. That's how we do. That's how we get. That's how we operate as a couple. It sounds like the perfect setup. Now, Racing WA. The other part is that they have subsidised tickets for these events. $50 for owners, which is almost $100 off, and $65 for guests. So it is very, very affordable to get along, and it sets up what's going to be a wonderful couple of months of racing when you consider the 3-year-old features will follow on from that. We'll have a golden slipper as well for the 2-year-olds, and
who knows, hopefully this time in 12 months with a horse like Better Get On Pip, she could be having a couple of cracks at this night, and then a WA Oaks as well down the track. So there's plenty to look forward to. It's not just in the 2-year-old years, Tim. Fantastic to have you on the program this morning, and we'll keep in touch in the build-up to September 6th. It's going to be a wonderful night down here at Gloucester Park.
Anytime, Tim, and you do a great job, and everyone does. But anyone listening who hasn't been to the trots in recent times, get along. A great industry, great people. We love the horse.
Fantastic. All the best, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
There is Tim Gossage with us on the program, and he'll be down here on Friday night, no doubt cheering Better Get On Pip. So you can, if you want to find out more about the ownership journey of someone like Tim, you can ask him a question, no doubt, down here on Friday evening. Of course, the Diamond Classic, the feature, we're looking forward to that. We're certainly looking forward to September 6th as well. As I said, 4 races worth $100,000 or more.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.